I just made those chords without even knowing what any of them are, what the names of them are, what the music theory behind it is. I see a lot of these videos that try to just go straight into the deep end of music theory, and I know that this is a tutorial. It's for beginners. I don't want to waste your time and make you guys feel overwhelmed, so I'm just going to be showing you guys it in simple terms that if I was just starting out, I could understand a little bit better.
Let's go!
And make sure you guys stay to the end of the video, because I'm going to be telling you an app that I use to train my ear to be able to make these melodies in the first place. So I have a bunch of melodies that I have pre-made here. You can download them below, link in the description. So right here, I'm just going to drag the first one in, anime intro. Basically, it looks very hectic.
What the dog doing?
If you don't understand what's going on, but it's pretty simple. The way that I put these together is I mainly click in a few notes first, so I get a chord first. So like I'll get these 3 notes. And that sounds very simple. Like if you delete all this other stuff,
delete me from this conversation.
It's just an A major chord. And I know I wouldn't get into music theory, but you guys got to know your chords. That's just an A major. This would be an A minor. And then I just have this top melody put on it. I'll let you guys hear it first before I go into more depth. So yeah, pretty simple melody here. What makes it sound complicated is the top melody. So the way that I think about chords is just the individual notes put together to make a whole. So we have this is why it's very important to train your ear, is because once you have an ear for what sounds good together, you can kind of just click these in together and not even know any music theory on what you're doing. Just hearing it and knowing that it sounds good.
You don't really need you don't need me. Like this is just like a baby can figure this out over time. It's just like blocks. Okay, I think you need theory.
So while I'm making these melodies, I really focus on the bass line, because once you put the 808 down, the most prominent part of the beat is mainly going to be the 808. That's what they're going to be hearing. So you don't want a super whack bass line that just doesn't sound right. So like I'm basically looking at these root notes. So like A, and I'm thinking, what sounds good off of that? So it's like duh. I'm like, my brain instantly thinks duh. That just is very pleasing to the ears, and that's all music theory is. Just over time, we basically just figured out what sounds good to the human ear. So you don't need music theory to know what sounds good. Music theory was created because of certain things that sound good, if that makes any sense at all.
What? Bro, what are you talking about, man?
And yeah, it's basically simple as that. So once you get the chords down, I would recommend you guys just keep practicing. That's when you can move into the top melodies. But let's look at another one of these midis real quick. Actually, let's do this one, Eterna Forest. I literally copied the chord progression from Pokemon here, so I didn't make up this chord progression. That's another tip that I will give you guys. Look at other music that's already out there and just listen, and then try to replicate those chords without looking up what they are. It's going to really train your ear. The point of this video is to tell you guys, you need to train your ear. If you want to be a music producer, you have to have a good ear. To put an 808 pattern down when you listen to a loop, automatically doing this without you even realizing. You're listening for the bass frequencies, like and then you're basically just putting the 808s in that pattern. And you do it without even realizing. So this is the #1 thing that you need to train if you want to be able to level up your melodies, level up your 808s. Learn to just hear the chord progressions, hear the notes. So real quick, I'm gonna say fuck it, and I'm just gonna show you guys what I mean. So we're gonna go and start with bass, with a bass line. So I'm just gonna click a random note. So we have this G sharp, right? Dun, and I want it to go dun, dun, dun. Just off these 4 notes that we just clicked in, we can make a whole masterpiece from this. Da, da, da. and da 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 da. I just made those chords without even knowing what any of them are, what the names of them are, what the music theory behind it is. I'm using my ears and just knowing, like, you can just hear, you can feel what sounds good in those chords. So I like to take the thirds or the middle notes and I just put them up an octave. I do that by going control and then up arrow. So this is super boring, right? We're gonna randomize the notes and then we're gonna go all S. So they kind of strum a little bit. So now you just have basic chords. You need to actually use your ears a little bit more than that. Don't be afraid to start singing. Be like dun 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 dun. Alright, I know I said I wasn't going to make a melody in this video, so we're just going to delete all that. So I'm going to show you guys another one that I made. So like, we got this one right here. So, what is going on in this melody? Basically, there's a fire bass line. Say I delete everything else in this melody, right? We do still have that is the heart and soul of this melody, is the bass line. So yeah, what I do is I kind of just randomly click around and create like all these notes. It looks really complicated, but it all starts out with just me going like this, just like clicking. That's just some random shit, but it's gonna sound good because I can tell by my ears that it's gonna be in the scale. And let me introduce you guys to something else. So as you can see in this melody, there's it's the same note just over and over again, just repeating the whole time. There's a music theory term for that, and I don't know it, but definitely do that in your melodies. If you have one note that is repeating a lot, it can sound good. It can sound good. Take a moment to just really listen to just this C sharp and the C sharp only, okay? Just zero it out with your ears. It's little things like that that you don't notice when you're not making the melody. I would also recommend having more things happening at once. Like while you have the, also have a, and then also the, when you have multiple moving pieces all happening at once, that's what makes a beautiful melody. That's what catches your ears. That's what makes you feel emotional. So like here on this one, I made a song about John Pork on my TikTok, and I used this MIDI.
Breaking news this morning, a man by the name of John Pork has passed away.
So this right here, let me talk about counter melodies for a second. Counter melodies look so complicated, but they're so simple, bro. Like all I did to make this counter melody, right, was I clicked in. And then I literally just copied and pasted it like a bunch of times. Like I literally just copied these three notes and just pasted them up a whole bunch of times. Make something catchy and just copy and paste it a bunch. If you go watch KBZ's videos back in the day, KBZ would always do this. He'd make a really simple pattern and then he'd just copy and paste it over and over and over. And then like it just creates a very like catchy, easy vibe. And then what KBZ would do was after he did that, he would go into the bass notes that he had copied over, and then he changed the bass notes.
And then I'm gonna add the bass notes. So.
That's because the bass notes are the most important part of your melody. But yeah, guys, I've been blabbering over here for quite some time. And like I promised, I'm going to be telling you guys the app that I use every day to improve my ear to be able to make melodies just like this. It's called Functional Ear Trainer. And I'm not sponsored by this app. I legitimately use this app to learn piano. I use this app to train my ear. Basically, it'll play you a chord progression, and then it'll play you one note that's in that key of that chord progression, and then you have to guess what that note is. So it's basically training your relative pitch. It's like the learned version of perfect pitch. Yeah, guys, again, download this MIDI kit down below. Completely free. Why not?